Hello, this is Speedbump here, and actually, today I have a bit of a special. We're reviewing Diablo Immortal, for what I've done of it so far. Diablo Immortal, the first game Blizzard is releasing since its recent scandal, is finally here. Woo! This game I was more curious about, considering its backlash from BlizzCon when it was announced. Now, let's look at the game, and we'll make some early judgment on it. Gameplay for Diablo Immortal is roughly what you expect from a mobile game, maybe a bit more. But honestly, where the game actually shines in one major aspect is it is a Diablo game on the surface. It's what you would expect from a Diablo game in gameplay and just general playing, but also it is a mobile game. Mobile games are known for one thing, one major thing, and that's its monetization. Monetization, from what I've seen in Diablo Immortal so far, is everything from buying the materials for craft for upgrading. Okay, that's just a speed up. But it also has, as part of its monetization, cosmetics. Okay, not big that big of a deal. There are plenty of free to play games that do cosmetic stuff that you can only get through through that. Okay, but probably the most limiting factor to it is the rifts. The game has it where you can modify the rifts and all that such, and add more modifiers, make the rift harder, make it so you can get better loot and all that such. Well, the highest tier for that, the legendary cores, you get one for free, and I haven't figured out how you get more for free, but you can buy them with the real world money. That is the biggest issue with it. And because of that, strictly on gameplay, this is not taking into account controls as part of the gameplay. I would put it as a 7 out of 10, and I'm still honestly early on in the game, so I have not seen everything yet. So if I do make an updated review, it'll be if I've played more overall. I don't know if I will. Now, let's move on to controls. This I had some issues with regards to controls. First, I'll start off with where I found the worst bit of controls being, and that was with the controller on PC. Legitimately, when I tried using the controller, I just could not get the controller to work correctly on the PC. I've heard it works great, but I couldn't get it to work. I had to restart the game, and then even after I restarted the game, it was giving me a lot of issues. For example, the mouse thing that would hover on the screen would drift constantly. So it was a matter of I couldn't really, and it was delayed too. So it just wasn't working correctly. And that's a big issue for this kind of game, especially since they're requiring you to always be online for playing it. So not only are you dealing with internet issues, but you're also dealing with a controller issue too at that point. Now, there is, and I know this is the reason why I know it was not my internet, was with the mouse and keyboard. Mouse and keyboard controls are, I would say, great because they are literally what you would expect from the game. The basics. 1, 2, 3, 4 for your abilities. Right click for your auto attack, and then pressing R for your ultimate ability, and Q using your using your health pots. Not much different from what you see in Diablo 3. Not really much at all. that So I will say, mouse and keyboard, I had no problems with it. I just had to try it with the controller, and the controller just was giving me issues. This might be something Blizzard might fix in a later update, but yeah, that's the issue with the PC version. I've heard that the controller worked on iPhone and all that such. So now let's go to the real thing. This the game was clearly designed to be run on mobile, which of course it's a mobile game. What do you expect? And because of that, the touch controls are actually pretty. The touch controls are nothing innovative, but they're pretty good for how they are designed. So it's one of those things of the controls are, I will say, yeah, touch controls are definitely are comfortable to play with. Now, overall, for just taking into account all three of the control schemes, if I'm playing on PC, mouse and keyboard all the way. I'm going to say that now. Playing on my phone, I'll definitely be using the touch controls because it's easy. I don't want to haul a controller around with me for that. And I will, and the controller on the PC thing, that's something that'll probably be patched and fixed within a few months at most. So I'm not worried about that, but it does affect it. I would give controls 8 out of 10 because, well, as I said, that is a thing. Now for the story, I what I will honestly say is I haven't played enough of the story to really give an adequate rating on this, so there will not be a score for this. It's just going to be my opinions. So far, I have thought the story has been fairly decent. It's a you can tell it does play off of Diablo 2, and they are definitely bringing back fan favorite characters. Most notable of them, because I've seen him in multiple Diablo games. I did not play Diablo 1. Is Deckard Cain. Deckard is one of the earliest characters you meet in this game. Followed by you've seen Kesha, you've seen Akara, you've seen various other characters already that you've come across throughout Diablo. That's actually and that's just fun. Probably the boss fight that I found the most enjoyable so far has actually been the Leoric fight. And I've always liked Leoric's fight in Diablo 3, so it's one of those things of it's like the fact that they did the fight some justice in Diablo Immortal is very nice. Now, let's look at overall. As a whole, the game is, I would say, pretty decent. It does what it does very effectively. But, considering the microtransactions, I would say, because they're right there in your face, those will need to be toned back if they want a higher rating. Because they're getting close to being predatory. If it wasn't for those microtransactions, I, I would honestly probably give it like an 8 out of 10. But overall score with the microtransactions would be a 7.5. But those microtransactions, I'm actually adding a weighting system for this. I weight against those microtransactions so heavily that I have to decrease it down to a 7 rating. Because it's just not a good practice. It's legitimately not a good practice for them. They need to actually address how they have put the microtransactions in. Because it's clearly going to be pay to win when you hit end game. And if you're seeing that in the early game that's going to be pay to win, there's something wrong there. You could at least mask it. But no, they did not. And yeah, it drags it down to a 7 out of 10 overall because of how bad those microtransactions are, which pretty much invalidates the Control's review. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy. Please do come back. And yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye.